When people talk about moving to Ghana, they often start with the excitement, the beaches, the food, the culture, the idea of returning home to Africa. But the truth is, relocating isn't about booking a ticket, it's a process, one that requires patience, planning, and purpose. It has been a while since I posted since the last video, and that's because I've been dealing with some toothache and it's very painful. But anyways, here we go. In episode 2, part 1 of the return, we are going to break it down step by step. The real things you need to know about before you make the move. So, in this session, I will talk about the research, the moment that you make up your mind to relocate, job and business opportunities in Ghana, and housing where you intend to live. So, if you've been thinking about the return, about relocating, grab a notebook. This episode is for you. And please, please, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And remember that you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Okay, so before you even apply for a visa, you have to understand Ghana. Start with the political climate, for example. Ghana is one of the most stable democracies in West Africa, known for peaceful elections and strong institutions. But like any democracy, it has its challenges from bureaucracy to regional differences. It's important then to stay informed, not just by reading headlines, but by connecting with people who live there. Next, take a good look at the economy. The Ghanaian cedi is the local currency and the exchange rate fluctuates. So right now, you can get for $1, you get 10.95 cedis, 10 cedis on 95 pesos. So keep your eyes on the dollar to CD trend. The cost of living can vary widely. Imported goods, for example, are often expensive, but local produce, services, and transportation can be surprisingly affordable once you adapt. If you are bringing belongings, look into import and export regulations. Shipping a container or a vehicle to Ghana requires paperwork and import duties. Sometimes can be as high as 20 to 40% of the item's value. That is a fact. It's best to compare whether it's cheaper to ship your belongings or to ship, for example, a car or to purchase it locally. That's up to you. And in my future episodes, I will give you some figures onto importing a car. Finally, understand the traditional governance system. Beyond politics, Ghana's identity is deeply rooted in its tribal and chieftaincy structure. Chiefs play key roles in the community affairs, especially regarding land and local customs. Knowing how that system works and respecting it will help you connect and avoid missteps, especially when you are buying land or integrating it into the community. And I will spend quite some time in future episode explaining the purchasing of land and the establishing of businesses in Ghana. So, finding a job in Ghana, for example, as a foreigner, can be rewarding, but it takes strategy. While Ghana's job market is growing, competition can be tough, and salaries may differ greatly from Western standards. Expats often find opportunities in fields like, for example, education, technology, construction, NGOs, and hospitality. If you have a specialized skill such as in healthcare or engineering or even IT, for example, there are openings. You might be able to find a place in those fields, especially in urban centers like Accra, Tema, Kumasi, for example. That said, make sure you understand Ghana's work permit requirements before accepting any position. Employers usually sponsor your permit, but some roles are reserved for citizens, especially. So always verify your eligibility before relocating. That is part of your research. Include all of this in your research before you even make buy your plane ticket. Please again subscribe, like, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok and Instagram. Remember that we are. You can find us also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Now, for those who dream of entrepreneurship, right? Ghana is open for business. Foreigners can legally own and operate businesses, but you must register with the Registrar General's Department and meet minimum capital requirements, which depend on your ownership structure. And that is relative. Depends on the area that you want to move into, or and also which, depending on the area that you want, the field that you want to move into your business, it's gonna dictate your capital that you should have. Depending on your budget, of course, or your capital, I suggest to start with something small to get acclimated with the Ghanaian system. I started off with a small cold store. It helped me to get to know what steps I had to take in order to establish the store, what documents I needed, where I was going to be located, where to buy the items, very important, I was going to sell. It's a learn as you go kind of experience. And I will share my whole experience in establishing that cold store in episode 3 in the coming days. For those who would like to venture into a different field, some popular sectors include, for example, agriculture, real estate, tourism, fashion, and tech. Very popular in Ghana. But success in Ghana depends on relationships and trust, as I said before. Ghana runs on connection. People want to know who you are before they do business with you. Logical, and I think that that is true anywhere you go. Once your paperwork is underway, the next question is, where will I live? Where am I going to lay my head down every night? Right? Housing in Ghana ranges from affordable to high end depending on your location, depending on your budget. That's what you get, right? Affordable areas include in Accra, in Ghana. Affordable areas include places like Kaswa, Dome, and parts of East Legon Hills, where rent can be modest, especially if you are willing to live slightly outside central Accra. Expensive areas, on the other hand, include airport residential cantonments and Labone. These are modern neighborhoods with gated homes, reliable utilities, and easy access to embassies, malls, and restaurants. Rent is often paid in Ghana. Rent is often paid 1 to 2 years in advance. So that's something to look into, to keep in mind, and include in your budget, so that you can be ahead. And always visit or send a trusted person, a trusted friend, to inspect the properties, whether you're going to rent or buy, before you make any payment. Scams do exist. Okay, so relocating to Ghana is not just about moving, it's about transforming. There's a whole change of person, character, and everything else that happens. Every step, research, housing, health, land, education, everything prepares you for more than a physical shift. It's a mindset shift as well. When you move to Ghana, you don't just change your address, you change your rhythm, your person, who you are. It takes planning, patience, and courage, but the reward is priceless. A life that feels intentional, connected, and grounded in heritage. That's Ghana. So, this is The Return, and I'm Ponce Ferguson. Join me in our next episode as we explore in part two your chances of buying land in Ghana, its educational and healthcare systems, shipping and mailing to and from Ghana, and most importantly, the internet, the rhythm, the reality, and the rediscovery that follows. Thank you.